Welcome to The Landlady Listens. The podcast where we talk all things real estate, development, and the mindset it takes to build your dream life.
Okay, hey guys. It's
Landlady. I'm your host, Meg Hayden, real estate broker, new construction expert, and a believer in making big visions into a reality. So if you're ready to build it, dream it, and live it, let's dive in. Hey guys, it is Meg Hayden from the Landlady Listens podcast. We are so excited today. I'm here with Virginia from Ironwood Studio. It's so important to have other female builders, to see them, to know that they're here and around. And so I'm super excited for her to be on our show today. Hi.
Hi, Meg. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh my God.
I'm so excited for our conversation today.
I am too. I first met you through my girl Jen Mello.
Yes.
And you were on our developers podcast, and not even podcast, you were on our developers panel. Mm-hmm. And I think, well, Jen's going to kill me even for saying this, but I'm all about the vagina power. And I just think that there's not a lot of women mm-hmm. in the space of development and of building. And mm-hmm. so I think it's really important to show that we have a voice and that we have women that are in the space. So tell me a little bit about how you got started.
I actually grew up in the home industry. My dad just celebrated his 80th birthday. But
Congratulations, Dad.
He ran a general contracting business. So I'm one of 11 children. And I was fortunate enough that my dad would drag me to work with some of my brothers. And I was exposed to the world of construction from a very young age. He taught me how to roof, how to do siding, how to paint. I learned a lot about basic carpentry skills, and really just the whole exposure of the world of construction, being on site, working for people, just kind of watching him. I learned so much about respect. I mean, he always taught us, you treat the job site you treat the home like it's your own. You clean up. It's always neater than it was when you got there. Integrity is so important. All of the basic foundational things that you need to be successful. And I really gravitated towards that because I was always more creative. I always kind of struggled academically. So I found my spot there to be very comfortable, and I would succeed. I was always more hands-on. So when I was in college, I started a painting company. It was called Artful Interior Finishing. And I think coming from a large family, you have a lot more resources. You're a lot more known. And with my dad's company, local contractors would seek me out to work on their projects.
Cool.
And this is back in the late 90s when faux finishing was big, and that's kind of what I did. So
what is faux finishing?
So it's sponge painting, marbleizing, murals. So I painted houses. I did that for 25 years. So so I loved it. But I think what I realize now looking back is I learned so much by being in the homes of homeowners, because you're seeing it from the inside. You're in their house all day painting. You hear the conversations that are going on with the contractors and the homeowners, and you hear the conversations after they leave. And I really got an understanding and for what they were really looking for, what their struggles were. A lot of times it was, why is it so hard to find a contractor? Why is it so hard to get a contractor to call you back? I need to
show up and just do what they say they're going to do in the time that they said they were going to do it in. Yeah.
Right. I found myself being kind of like almost like a mediator. I was actually doing construction management without even knowing I was doing it. They'd be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to renovate my bathroom, but I don't know it. Oh, I know someone. My brothers do this. And I was organizing the trades to come in and do the work, and I was helping with the selection. So I was doing construction management without even knowing that I was doing it. So naturally, when COVID hit, I was ready. I was ready to kind of turn in the paints. I was done climbing ladders and stagings and lugging around heavy equipment, and it just seemed like the natural next thing to go into. I met a wonderful company in Providence called Meridian Custom Homes, and they had hired me to come in to assist with some painting for their projects, and they would refer me to the client to help with the selection. So that's kind of how I got my foot in the door. The same company, I met my now business partner and life partner, John Foran, and he's been...
Hey, John.
Yeah, so got to give props to John because he brought the construction management side to the business. We started Ironwood Studio in 2020, and... yeah, so that's what we've been doing since then, and I'm happy to say it's our strongest year since. It's been a road, I have to say. I mean, a lot of struggles, a lot of learning lessons, but yeah, we're still trucking along. We're still learning, and yeah, I love it.
So tell me a little bit about what your, like, if you were to describe your company, because I feel like you guys do like really cool stuff.
Yeah.
It's not boring, gray.
Right. Yeah, I think we have an edge on a lot of companies because we do incorporate a lot of our own handcrafted designs into our projects. With the skill set of John, we're able to customize a lot of features. We call them character upgrades, and that's like beams, mantles, custom lighting, custom artwork to really, I think, just add a little more personality to a space,
Have it be more creative and like artistic and just,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
thoughtful.
Right.
So, what do you guys do? Like, if you were to talk to a regular homeowner, what exactly? How can you help them?
Yeah. So, I think what appeals to most people is the fact that we're a one-stop shop. So when you hire us, we're floor plans to furnishings. We come in, we work with you. We do a lot of discussion up front about what are your goals, what are your pain points, what level of investment are you comfortable with? And once we gather all that material, we can kind of give them options based on what their priorities are, give them a good plan. And I think for us, it's really about getting a really good understanding about how they live, how they utilize the house, how we can, really make it unique to their own and really enhance the lifestyle and give them a home that they love.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I really wanted you to also just talk about your experience as a business owner as well, and kind of talk to us about how you guys are currently working, and also different systems that you use to help better your work, help better the customer experience, as well as make sure that you're not having as much waste as well on the job site.
Right. I can't stress enough how important it is to have processes and systems, because without that, you are nothing. I don't care if you're the world's greatest designer. If you don't have that, you're not going to succeed. No one's going to be happy. The outcome, it's going to fall flat, I learned that the hard way early on. It's really about sitting down with them, really going over the expectations and the process. I think I've learned clients do like structure. They like knowing that you have a structured system and that you have steps that you take that will get us the end result that we want. So, we utilize a lot of things. I think the initial intaking process is huge, where we get on a phone call, and we're not so much talking about the project, but I'm trying to get an understanding of why you're doing this project now. Is resale value important to you? You know, what is your level of investment? Are we a good fit for each other? You know, you have to be a good fit for me as much as I need to be a good fit for you.
Yeah, if you're going to suck all my energy, you can,
right.
Thank you so much.
Right.
Goodbye.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So we want to make sure we're a good fit, first of all.
Absolutely. And I appreciate that because I feel like a lot of times when you first get started, you're just looking to just make sure that you're afloat. And then you realize that there's some people that are never going to be happy and they're always going to be miserable and they're going to suck so much energy out of you, which in the end, it's not even worth the money because it's just like you're a time suck, you're an energy suck.
Absolutely.
But what kind of systems or like technology are you using in your company that helps you guys run?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we use House Pro. I know there's a lot of debate about House Pro, but we kind of signed on when they were Ivy before they were bought out with House Pro. That is our platform, our client-facing platform for all of our invoicing and our proposals. I love it, one, because it's user-friendly, and two, because it's visual. So they can see every item they're buying. There is a photo. And I just think it's the process where they can approve or decline each line item individually, and it will retally the cost at the bottom so that they get to a level where they're comfortable. So I love that system. I love using it because I think our clients love it. So to me, that's a win. Of course, we have QuickBooks. I love PowerPoint. We do all of our presentations on PowerPoint. I use Canva for all of our marketing. We are slowly learning AI. So I think we just have to bite the bullet and do it, right? In this world, you have to be competitive. You have to stay up with the times. So we're slowly teaching ourselves how to utilize AI to work in our favor. And
so what? I mean, in what capacity do you think like AI would be? Oh, I guess like really, what's the pain point that you have currently? Is it the client face? It sounds like your client. You're good on that side. Maybe it is with like your business and sort of where do you need the help with the AI?
Yeah. So, well, AI, for instance, yesterday I think we all had a huge aha moment in the office. We have a client, and it's kind of not your typical project. It's kind of more of like a charity. A charity project that we're doing. So we're trying not to spend a lot of time on it. And John does AutoCAD, which is another huge asset to our company. John does all the AutoCAD. So he reconstructed a fireplace that we're going to be refreshing for a client. And she wanted to see a visual of what it would look like, you know, more than just a 2D level, but more of 3D. So I asked my senior designer, Allison Solomon, she's amazing, by the way, can maybe you just go on and see if you can find a couple photos that would just kind of replicate what John has here, just so I can kind of show her. While I was having the conversation with her, before she even opened Pinterest or anything, John was on his phone doing AI, dropped his CAD plan, and said, I need this raised off the floor 6 inches so that the baseboard heat is raised. He basically described the whole thing, and then he turned his phone around and said, is this what you need? And I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It was amazing. But how much time did that just save us? And it was literally 5 minutes.
I know. I mean, and you can do, like with ChatGPT, I mean, the way I leverage it is on so many different levels. I mean, you can plan your trip to Portugal, too.
Yeah.
Your itinerary and stuff like that. But for me, I mean, the way that I'm using it, too, is just even creating, like, create 10 text messages using, like, Alex Hormozy's, like, how he pitches stuff, you know? And so then you're able to even create, like, A and B testing, right? So how did Alex Hormozy's text messages do versus, I don't know, whoever else you want to put in there, FBI negotiator, or whatever his name is, and create 10 text messages, and then you put that in your action plan and templated text messages to your clients. And so I think there's a million ways that you could use it. I mean, even just creating email templates for your clients to just send out, every other week or whatever, just talking about whatever it is. But you have to talk to it.
And I love how it customizes, and the more you kind of tailor it to it learns your voice. It learns what words you would use, what words you wouldn't use. It incorporates your branding. So I think it definitely has its place. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then if you were to give advice to any other woman that is watching this about getting into construction, what advice would you give them?
Educate yourself, and it doesn't have to be school. I am self-taught, but I have been very wise enough to learn from the people that have been doing this longer than me. It's kind of a fast track, so you learn by other people's mistakes. So I have no problem investing in other people's teachings to learn more. I have my favorites. I take them all, and then what I do is I kind of take bits and pieces to kind of customize it to my own. But I would say that never stop educating yourself, never be afraid to shadow someone, and I think my top advice would be hire people that are smarter than you.
Always. I'm like, that's why I'm doing the podcast. I'm like, I want to be the dumbest person in the room. But legitimately, I always tell everybody, I'm like, it's like being on the soccer team. If you're the worst person, you're just going to get better.
Right.
So you always have to be with people that know more than you. And the fact of the matter is, like, we're only good at like 3 things. Let's be real about life. Really.
Yeah. You can't know everything.
You can't know everything.
Especially in the industry we're at, we have to rely on others to really help us, There's just so much.
There's so much. And I think that for me, I actually created like an online course for future developers, right? And so what I realized is that as a real estate agent, when I'm sitting with developers, number one, I'm the only vagina in the room. But I also realized that number two is it's a team. Like, you are a part of a team. So to think that people will have like imposter syndrome, they're sitting there, they're like, what do I have to add? And I'm like, well, I know I'm really good at sales and marketing and getting this product in front of as many people in as many different ways as possible, right? And then someone else's job is the financing, and then the other person's job is the construction, and then there's the interior designer or what have you. So to really be able to feel confident in your abilities.
Yes.
And I agree with you too. It's like, I wasn't the best student either, but you can learn in so many different ways. I mean, that's really why I created the podcast, was so that I could learn as much from as many different people that have already done it and learn all their mistakes, and what to look for. And so I think that education is really free, and it's about you, instead of sitting there and watching Netflix, like, read a book, listen to a podcast, listen to a book. There are so many opportunities now that you can learn literally anything you want in whatever capacity that you want to. So I know that you had done a project, right? Like you had done like a new construction project?
We did our first new build from ground up. Last year, we completed it. That was our first as Ironwood Studio. John's had hundreds under his belt through Meridian Custom Homes and other people that he's worked for, but that was our first, yes. We just completed our second.
Tell me a little bit about that experience.
If I had to compare last year's to this year's, it would be a huge difference. Each project went great, but there were just a lot of things through the process that we could have done differently and that we carried over. I think a lot of mistakes were still fresh in our head that were still hard-hitting. They cost us money, and whenever something costs you money, you will never do it again. I mean, that is your biggest learning
And the
lesson.
thing is, it's like, they're not $5 here.
No, I mean, we're talking thousands of dollars. And when you're building someone's house, the liability and the responsibility that you take on, if you're not, I guess, creating the budget to have contingencies and putting enough aside for the unforeseen, that was our biggest mistake on the first one. We lost money. Granted, the project came out great. The clients were really happy. They're referring us, so I am blessed for that. But on the second time around, we did so much better. So much better.
So what is that contingency that you're putting in now? What are those contingencies that you're putting in now?
Yeah.
What's that money that you're setting aside now for future projects?
So it's about 10 to 15% of the overall budget.
Let's just say 15% for
15%.
forever, and for always now, okay?
I think it's a smart number, and even on our renovations, we say the older the home, the higher the contingency should be, because there's going to be more unforeseen, in an older home than in a fairly newer home. So.
And then are there contingencies do you put in there even for supplies?
Oh, yeah. So supplies is the number one, because I always say Lowe's is John's second home. If I could count the amount of times that he runs to Lowe's or Ace Hardware just to pick up materials. And you have to understand, so we might not be like your typical interior designer. We also do a lot of the construction. We actually we purchase all of the building products. So we're ordering doors and windows and lumber and screws and nails and glue. So that's something that we do. It's not typical. I don't think most designers do it that way. I think that's usually left for the construction. But where we are GCing the project, we feel that there's a bigger markup and we have more control over the material and the quality of materials that are being used. We know what's going into our project. So, there's a risk factor there of the unknown. So by supplying those materials, there's always that risk. We're going to run short. We didn't have enough plywood. We're out of lumber. And things add up so quickly. I mean, the cost of materials today. So those things do add up quickly. And not just that, but protecting things. Like on our first project, for instance, we had 3 decks, but we forgot to include protecting the decks in our line items. We had to go out and buy plywood. We bought like ram board for the house to protect all the floors, and that was a cost that we missed. Early on, we're not thinking of everything. So those costs did add up very quickly.
So if you had your dream job or your dream project, what would that be?
Yeah. My ideal client is working with busy families that are CEOs, vice presidents of companies. They run their own companies. They see the value in hiring a professional and someone that's an expert in a field that they're not. I think there's just something to be said about that. That's my ideal client. So when we have a client that comes to us and they want to build a house, or they're coming in from out of state and they have a vacation home, or they're buying a home, they don't have resources, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the time. They see the value in us. So that's my ideal project. That's my ideal job. It could be a new build. It could be a renovation. It could be an addition. But just knowing that they trust in you to guide them throughout the entire project, there's nothing better than that to me. That's my ideal project.
I think what's good about you guys, too, is that you do have the interior design with the construction, because you don't have to hire 2 people that have to communicate. It's just one fluid line.
Yes.
And it's like one less conversation that has to happen and communication between 2 separate companies.
Absolutely.
So I feel like that in itself is huge.
Yes, and to add on, Allison, who's been a huge asset to our company, and like I say, when I hire people that are smarter than me, she's the perfect example. She is a space planning expert. So I thank people for a space planner.
Okay.
So whether you're building or renovating, people are never considering the final things that need to go in the room. So whether you're repurposing furniture or you're bringing in new, I've heard way too many horror stories about people buying furniture and then it doesn't fit, or not having the lighting placed, or putting artwork on the wall, but there's a thermostat there. And there's just so many little details that need to be considered. And she brings that knowledge.
Thank God.
And it's really just a whole nother level that people don't think about. So with the construction and the interior design and the space planning and just knowing what materials to source, every plumbing fixture is not the same. There's, I just think it really is about educating the client on the materials that that we think that they should bring in.
But that's like great too, because I always say that I'm like spatially stupid. Like when people are like, what do you think we could put in here? I'm like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
This is not my expertise at all. But to have a company that has that many entities, right? Because I feel like a lot of times too, you have the builder who is not thinking of the artwork and the lighting. And so it just really makes it exactly what you're looking for.
Exactly.
What's your like mantra or your little life lesson that you would give to any listener out there?
Not to be afraid to do something you want to do just because you're afraid. I have a quick little story, and it's actually the perfect example. And I don't think I've really even told this story, but it just seems so fitting right now. I went through design school without ever taking a color class because I was deathly afraid of color. I was pencil artist, black and white. That's what I was good at, and I never wanted to do anything I wasn't good at. And somehow I got through college, got my fine arts degree without ever taking a painting class. Like, unbelievable, right? Then I had a friend who was begging me to paint her shed in her backyard. Please, please, please. And I was like, well, that's color. I'm not good at that. I said no a million times. Finally, she asked me so many times, I was like, okay, I'll do it. So this was my color class. I bought interior house paints. I could paint, but not to the point where I'm doing a mural. I had spent an entire summer designing her shed. I did ivy, I did birds. And I think the point where I realized, oh my God, my aha moment was when she called me in the middle of winter and it was snowing, and she said, the birds are perching on the ivy on my shed. I think they think it's real. And that to me was like a moment. It made it in Better Homes and Garden magazine.
Cool.
And that's when I was like, you know what? I was so afraid to take that project to fail. But you know what? If I wouldn't have, I don't think where I'd be where I am today if I didn't just get over it.
Do the ivy.
Get over it. Just do it, because you really never know. And it's like even when people like you say, there's an opportunity to come on my panel. I was afraid. I'm like, this is a real estate panel. I don't know anything about real estate, but I'm never going to say no to an opportunity to meet other people that I can surround myself with, that can better me, that can encourage me and support me. So my mantra is just say yes.
Yeah.
And not every opportunity is going to lead to something, but you never know when it is. So always say yes.
I love that. Yeah. And one of the final things that I do ask all my guests is, what book or podcast would you recommend?
That's an easy one for me. Renee Berry. She's been my mentor. She only girl on the job site. Fantastic. If you are a woman in the interior design world and you're trying to get into construction management, she is the girl. She has courses, podcasts. She will get on the phone with you. She is so passionate about helping us women make our way into the male-dominated world of construction. I think the thing I gained the most was confidence out of her. It's the confidence to really feel like you belong there. We have so much value to bring. And I think just by taking her course, she gives you all the tools and the confidence to kind of strengthen you. So Renee Berry.
Yep. It's true, though. I feel like it is the confidence and the thing that makes us not do the things that we're afraid to do. And that's what I was saying. It's like I have a course where it just really you do strength finders to find out where your strengths lie and to lean into those, and to also realize like where those strengths can like kind of turn people off. Like one of my strengths was positivity, but it was also like, sometimes you're too positive, Meg. like when my dad died, I'm like, it's a blessing. And they're like, he's still warm. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I love that.
But it's like, but it's funny. So I feel like having, knowing your strengths and really being able to leverage those, and then know the things that you're not good at, so that you can hire accordingly, right? And then you can hire people that are going to fill that space and fill it better. And a lot of people don't like to talk about the things that they're not good at, and there are people that will try to use the things that you're like, I'm not good at this, and then use it against you. But I'm like, well, then you're not my people.
Right.
But
right.
I think in this like season of my life, I feel like I have had really wonderful like female friendships, and really friendships that are business oriented as well, where we're all lifting each other up, sharing resources. And I also can't wait for our builder and developer powwow that we're going to have in the summer to get everybody together, because I think, I always say, even in real estate, when I first got started, I remember I had a mentor, and I'm paying him 50% of what I'm making, right? And I was like, hey, could you show me like your listing appointment or your listing like presentation? He's like, no, it's confidential. I'm like, okay. I'm like, first of all, like, what, you're like the first realtor that's ever lived?
Right,
Please, there's thousands of us. Like, what are you, insane? You know what I mean? And it's like, so I feel like sharing resources is really comes from a place of an abundance mindset, right? Where and that was the thing we were just talking about earlier, is this book called The Go-Giver, and how in reality, the more you add value and you share, more than you get repaid, it will just come back
absolutely
tenfold.
I always say collaboration over competition.
Yeah, because it's like, I'm you, you're, I'm me, you're you. We
can all learn something from each other, and there's enough work to go around.
There's plenty of work to go around. Yeah. And in reality, I think when you share, it's just about sharing best practices, and it elevates us all.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to thank you so much for coming
having me.
on, of
so
course.
Nice
and it is so good to see you. And tell us how we can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so website is the easiest place. Everything is there. It's Ironwood Studio Co. Same handle for Instagram, and we're on LinkedIn and Google, and we're pretty much out there on social media, so we're easy to find.
So check her out.
Yeah,
thank you guys so much. That's it for today's episode of The Landlady, where we turn your vision into a reality. Remember, success starts in your mind before it ever shows up in your life. Keep believing, keep building, and more importantly, keep taking action. And until next time, trust the process, bet on yourself, and go create the life that you deserve. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Love you.